Hello lovely people, welcome back to my channel. I hope you are all well. If you don't know what this video is going to be, bear in mind the title, and that my last video was my experience slash content slash sensory warning video. There was a lot of slashes. Then we are going to talk all things thoughts and feelings wise on Hamilton the musical, currently taking part in its UK tour up and down the country. If you want to know my thoughts and feelings on this tour, then stick around and we'll get into it in 2 whole seconds. That was quite a chaotic entrance, wasn't it? Apologies. But hello. This show for me, I feel like normally when I attack a chatty my thoughts and feelings video, I'm always like, right, yeah, so I've got to explain the plot, I've got to explain this, I've got to explain that. But I feel like Hamilton at this point is so iconic that most people, if they're at all fan of musicals, will know a little bit about Hamilton. If you haven't seen it live, you will have seen it through Disney Plus. And bearing in mind its first show on Broadway was in 2015 and then we got it a couple of years later, I feel like if you are a fan of musical theatre, you've probably seen it some shape or form. I last saw this musical live in April 2018, so to use a pun, it was nice to be back in the room where it happened. That's my only joke for this video, you are welcome. But if we need the backstory, let's give it. The music, the lyrics and the book all were done by Lin-Manuel Miranda, and this show kind of tells the story of our lead titled character of the show, Alexander Hamilton, and it goes from how he had hard beginnings until his death, and every character that kind of went in the near of him. That makes no sense, but we're gonna move on, because like I said, I feel like if you know musical theatre, you know the synopsis of this show. I don't need to give you a long spiel. And if you do, and if you don't know it, Wikipedia. They'll explain it better than me anyway. Me, personally, it was a joy to be back watching this show. For me, I always am obsessed with its choreography, which was originated and created, if you will, by Andy Blankenbuehler. For this tour, it is being overseen by the UK associate choreographer, who is Karian Ingruel. Hopefully I'm pronouncing her surname correctly. If you've never heard that name, all I'm going to say is the word 6. Like, that is insane that your associate choreographer for the UK is Karian. It's insane. But it's really cool to see the integrity of the choreography being pretty much the same for this tour and for this show as it would be if you saw it in the West End. In fact, when it comes to choreography, literally in the interval, the woman who was sat next to me said she would literally come back and see the show again just for the dancing. And I think I agree. It is definitely iconic and just a joy to watch. Even if I think I could do that, and then I look at it again and I'm like, no, I couldn't. Speaking, however, of it being just like the West End and just like a London show, the set also is again iconic. Originally it was designed by David Corrins for Broadway, and yeah, it's don't want to say a simple set, but it is majority one stationary set with two, I think it's two, I'm going to say turntables, not the word, revolves, there we go. And then just occasionally a little bit of set coming on and off using those revolves. I love staring at it. Literally, I sat in my seat, the safety curtain came up because I got into my seat really early, and I was just like, yeah, I'm home. It was really weird, but it just felt so normal just to sit and be staring at that set after so many years, and it was just really fun to look at it again. That's a really cool thing I think about UK tours nowadays of shows that have previously or are currently in the West End or which have been on Broadway. When they are these big tours such as Hamilton, it literally feels like they've picked up the entirety of the stage area at, say, the Victoria Palace, and then they've just dropped it here and there around the UK, and it is amazing that that is what they can do, because for some people there is literally no chance of them getting to London or getting to a big place to see these amazing shows. And the fact that nowadays you can literally just put this, like a show to this standard, on a stage in the middle of Birmingham or elsewhere is just absolutely insane. I'm sounding such a country bumpkin today, but it is just incredible. We're going to move on though, because I'm not helping myself, am I? Let's move on to the cast. Now, my cast was something special, I think, because it was full and plenty of understudies and covers. So just to run through them, had understudy Hamilton, who was played in our performance by Richard Logan, who I was saying to my friend afterwards, I really enjoyed watching him through Act 1 especially, because for me, from where I sat, he was more of a youthful Hamilton. So in Act 1, well, Hamilton is more, I was going to say feisty. Feisty is not the word, but the word I need is not coming. But when he's part of the team and meets the likes of Lafayette and Lawrence and Mulligan in the bar for the first time, and the camaraderie and the team that they make themselves, especially in Act 1, is worked perfectly for Richard as Hamilton. I also enjoyed him in Act 2 when he's more the family man, and then the other things happen. But I definitely really enjoyed the work that he did with the other characters in Act 1. We also had understudy Eliza. So our Eliza was Mia Malarkey. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that surname correctly. I'm literally reading it phonetically. Again, it was really cool to see a different take on Eliza. Eliza has this like stunning voice, and Mia's definitely was really lovely to listen to. Also had a understudy Lafayette and Jefferson. So they were played by Jonathan Hermosa Lopez. I really enjoy that character, which is technically two characters. For me, Lafayette is just a fun human being to be around, and same kind of with Jefferson, but for different reasons. Jefferson's kind of the one you love to hate, and Lafayette is the one you love to love. But I really enjoyed Jonathan's take of both of those. Because there was 3 key understudies on, we also had a few swings that were on that aren't normally. Because of my terrible recording, I don't know the full list of ensemble and swings that were on, which I truly apologise for, because the ensemble in this show are one of my favourite ensembles. They are high octane, fabulous to watch. One of, like, when it comes to ensembles of shows, Hamilton do it well, and it's gutting that I can't sing the praises of every single one of them because I didn't catch everyone's names. Sorry. As I always say, it is always such a pleasure to see understudies and covers on, because at the end of the day they are the people who keep the theatre world revolving, and without those there would be so many less shows seen. So thank you to all understudies and covers. I love you. Aaron Burr in the tour is played by Sam, hopefully I'm saying this correctly, I want to pronounce it Oladine. Again, 100% apologies to any names that I read incorrectly or pronounce incorrectly. I'm terrible at names. I'm truly terrible. But Sam was a great Burr. Burr is like the unsung narrator of the show, and I really enjoyed his portrayal of that character. Towards the end of, or pretty much through the whole show, but definitely in Act 2, Burr is portrayed as quite jealous, and I just liked the way that Sam did that. It was absolutely brilliant to watch and I very much enjoyed. Mulligan and Madison, played by K.M. Drew Boateng. I couldn't get over the tone of his voice. It was quite bassy, but I just, every time they opened their mouth I was like, carry on, I love it. And I have to say, Mulligan and Madison are, or Madison is not one of my favourite characters, but listening to them, just loved it. Rounding off the trio, if you will, playing Lawrence and Philip Hamilton was D'Angelo Jones. Again, loved them. Really, really brilliant. In the roles of power, if you will, we have Washington, who was played by Charles Simmons, who apparently has previously performed the role of Washington in Germany, I would say. Hamburg, Germany. I was literally sitting in the interval reading Charles's backstory, if you will, or the previously he has played this, or previously he's done this. I was just like, whoa, he has had some roles in his time, or he has had some experience in his time, and I really enjoyed his Washington. The same with Daniel Boyes as King George. The thing about King George is there is almost a pantomime-y role there, and I feel like you can't go too extreme with King George. He's supposed to be that comic role. He is the kind of, he's like a toddler essentially, and I just really enjoyed it. Especially enjoyed the dancing in the Reynolds pamphlet, which is always one of my King George highlights. Like, you can have all your la da 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 da's, but the dance moves you can get off King George's in that short period of time, always a favourite, always a favourite. Finishing off with the other two Schuyler sisters, we had Angelica, played by Aisha Jawando. All my head did throughout the show was think that she was previously Tina Turner in Tina the Musical, and so my brain just had Angelica being Tina Turner, which was an experience to say the least. Finishing off the trio playing Peggy and Mariah Reynolds was Gabriella Benedetti, and again, really enjoyed listening to her vocals. Ironically, one of my favourite songs from this show is not anything that Hamilton sings, because one of my favourite songs is Say No to This. Why? Because it's please don't go, sir. Favourite, and Gabriella did a beautiful job on that. If you are debating seeing the tour whilst it is still going, I would 100% recommend, especially if you have yet to see the show on the West End or through Disney Plus. It's just a joy to watch, it's a joy to sit and listen to, and the tour actually doesn't have too many stops left. It finishes in Birmingham on the 31st of August, I believe. It then moves to Dublin for September, and then finishes off in Cardiff at the Millennium Centre, I think the start of January. I will try and remember to leave a link to the tour website in the description area for you to go and check out if you are debating a ticket. But I really enjoyed seeing this show. Was kind of gutted that I didn't see a few of the principal roles as they are, but like I said, I always enjoy an understudy. So yeah, win-win. Win-win. Anyway, that is it for the day. I'm going to leave you alone. Say thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you got to the end. All that's left to say is the usual. So long, farewell, auf Wiedersehen, adieu. Bye everyone.